No, you're a cash converter. Jeff Stone here. Welcome to day 52 of the year 2016 at magicreviewed.com. Cash converter. So what you're getting for $35 is the ability to, in theory, again, we'll go with that statement, take a borrowed bill, pull it through your fingers, and it changes to another bill. Watch the trailer, and you'll get a sense of what the effect is. But there are some issues. But let's just talk about a few things. The claims that the ad copy makes are actually true. This is not. It is not a gimmicked bill. It is actually the spectator's borrowed bill. You don't switch it out for a special gimmicked one or whatever. And you take their bill and you immediately pull it through your hand and it changes. And then you immediately change it back and you can immediately hand it out. So in that sense, all the ad copy is true and accurate. But there's some issues with the gimmick. First of all, let's address one thing. It says that you can turn their bill into a blank piece of paper, or you can turn it into another currency, like you can borrow a euro and turn it into an American $5 bill or something like that. Or you borrow their 20 or their 5 or their 100 and you turn it into a $1 bill, or a bunch of other things. Okay, that's all true, but you only get to do one of those. You have to make a gimmick, and the gimmick you basically have to gimmick the thing you're going to turn it into. So let's say that you've decided you're going to turn borrowed money into a $1 bill. Okay, you make the gimmick with the $1 bill, and that's it. It's done. It's always going to be a $1 bill. You can't change it ever. So you can't decide, tonight I'm going to perform the version where I turn it into a 1, and tomorrow I'm going to perform the version where I turn it into a blank piece of paper. No, it's always a $1 bill or whatever you decided. So the stuff that you get to make your gimmick, you have to you sacrifice. Let's just say again, we're going to go with we'll always turn it into a $1 bill. So you will permanently forever sacrifice a $1 bill that you'll never be able to spend it again, which it's $1, fine. But if you're considering changing it to 100 or something like that, then you're permanently sacrificing a $100 bill. But we're going to go with the 1. So you get the gimmick that comes with in the box, and you add it permanently to a $1 bill. That's your gimmick. It's pretty small, and you can carry it around pretty easily and everything. But first thing, making that gimmick is extremely finicky. And if you screw it up, you've permanently screwed up and there's no going back. And now you're stuck with a gimmick that you can't use and you've just wasted $35. It's very finicky. Now, I was able to get to make it. However, you need to make the gimmick a certain width. And they tell you this in the video. And based on the video, I made it what I thought would be a good width. Turned out I was wrong. So my gimmick's not quite wide enough, so I can't even use it. Now I made it out of $1 million bill, so I didn't lose any money at least. But it's a useless gimmick. It's not wide enough to do the job. And there's nothing I can do about it, because once you make it, that's it. It's over. It's too late. Now, that I'm willing to admit that maybe that's entirely my fault and I just screwed up. Okay, I'm willing to admit that. I'm not saying that it's the guy, what's his name, Richard Griffin. It's not Richard Griffin's fault that I'm an idiot and I cut it wrong or whatever, or I made it the wrong width. However, I really did think I was following the instructions, and I really did think I got enough width on it, and I didn't. So that's problem number 1. Problem number 2, putting the width aside. I happen to use $1 million bill, which they're not quite made out of the same material as real money. And so they're more papery. Like it's paper, but it's kind of clothy too. At least American money is. You can leave American money in your pocket and throw it in the washing machine, and it comes out safe on the other end. Whereas if you put a piece of paper in a washing machine, it does not come out safe. It comes out as a ball of mush. So there's still some cloth material. Well, the $1 million bill, it's just basically paper. And it's because it's paper, it gets a little bit more wrinkly on the way this gimmick works. And the reason I bring that up is because it's after just the practice, which has been probably a good hour playing around with it and practicing and testing it. And it's already starting to rip. The $1 million bill's starting to wrinkle up and rip and wear out. And so I don't think that a regular bill, real money, would do that. But if you decided to make your gimmick to where that you rather than changing something to a $1 bill, you're changing it to a blank piece of paper, well, you might have a problem now, because once that paper starts wrinkling and ripping, then your gimmick is gone forever and you can't ever use it again, and you've wasted $35 and you have to buy another one. So there's some issues there. The other thing, operating the gimmick is extremely finicky. Getting the gimmick into play is pretty easy, but operating the gimmick is very awkward, and I'm not kidding. I was actually getting a cramp in my left hand, an actual cramp, not just sore, but it was like cramping up from operating the gimmick, and particularly the part where you've got the bill, shown like this, and it's the $1 bill, and then you're going to change it back to the borrowed $5 or whatever. When you're in this position right before that change, the way you have to hold things to keep it working is very, you're like, trying to do it. So, anyway, then when you do that and you go to make it go back to the other kind, it's not as fast and clean looking as it is in the trailer. And I don't think that was a matter of the trailer being dishonest. I think he just had a better gimmick than mine or something. Mine does not, I don't know what word I can use that would not give things away, but mine does not, we'll go with, I can't think of a word. I know a word, but if I say it, it'll probably give something away. It just doesn't go back to the way it doesn't change as well as it should. Sorry, that's really awkward. It doesn't work as fast as it should. And I was able to get it to work. So, I mean, proof of concept, sure. I was able to do it, but not reliably. And it was just awkward. And when you're done, for a few seconds, this hand's like, trying to hide something for a minute, and it's awkward. So, now, I understand that just because a method is awkward or hard or it's going to take practice, it doesn't mean it's a bad method. What I'm saying is bad about this isn't necessarily the method. I'm saying that it's very awkward to operate the gimmick, and making the gimmick, you're taking a big risk that you may end up making it so that it's not usable. And it will wear out, and once it wears out, that's it, and you have to permanently sacrifice whatever bill you're going to turn things into. So that's why it's hard to give this a great review. Now, speaking just personally, not affecting the star rating, but to me the effect has some flaws in it too, but that's between you and the effect gods, and if you like the effect or not. But I just never been a fan of, let me borrow your bill. Look, I changed it. Look, I changed it back. Here's your bill back. If you like that effect, fine. And if you're willing to put in the effort and take the risk on this method, then you'll probably be okay with this. But it's not easy. It's not, and there are risks, and it's awkward. So because of the problems with the gimmick itself and making the gimmick correctly, and because of it not operating as smoothly as it should, I gave this 3 stars. Stone status of still gem because I think that it can still be done, but a little teeny G. It's bordering on grubble here, guys. Anyway, 3 stars, stone status of gem. That's it. So, do me a favor, folks. Subscribe to this channel right now. Click that button. Thumbs up it. Share it. Let all your friends and family and folks on Twitter, Facebook, wherever you guys are hanging out, let them know. And listen to the random iTunes song of the moment, which is Blood Money by John Bon Jovi. Not Bon Jovi, but John Bon Jovi. Solo album. And it's good. We got a money song on a Cash Converter. Young Guns soundtrack. Young Guns 2 soundtrack. It's all done by John Bon Jovi. And it actually says inspired by the Young Guns 2 soundtrack. And I think I've mentioned this before, but when I first got turned on to Bon Jovi, the first song I ever heard was You Give Love a Bad Name. So I bought that album, Slippery When Wet. And then I heard Wanted Dead or Alive. I'm like, whoa, this song rocks. And I love that sort of cowboy rock thing. And so, did you hear that? Selling my son dropped the whole plate of dishes upstairs. Hope he's all right. And then I just love that style. And Bon Jovi's got a great voice for that. John Bon Jovi does. So I always thought, man, I wish that they would make more music like this. And then they come out with John comes out with the Blaze of Glory Young Guns 2 soundtrack. And I'm like, dude, there it is. And Blood Money is a good example of that. It's a good tune. Anyway, tune in tomorrow, day 53, where we look at Solomon's secret subtleties. That's right, folks. Subtleties. Until then, peace out.